Only on 5, a devastating coincidence or a bigger issue. Nearly a dozen people in a Treasure Coast town hear the same horrible news from their doctor. You have brain cancer.
It's out of the norm, and I don't want anybody to deal with what we've had to deal with.
And it's not just any form of cancer. They've all been diagnosed with glioblastoma, one of the most aggressive forms.
Why are there so many cases, and what can we do about it?
Ultimately, they want to know if there's a bigger issue within their community connecting their cases.
News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts is live in St. Lucie County with their stories.
Well, in this age of technology, it simply took word of mouth for 11 glioblastoma patients or their surviving loved ones to find each other over the span of about a year. And what they found they all had in common is where they've lived, at most about 7 miles apart from each other. The majority within about 5 miles, some on the same streets, and in one case, the same house.
The water bill, the light bill, those are my first priority.
Inside the Cunningham home,
You start getting the late notices.
the bills are adding up.
You know, $50,000 since 2016.
Their priority now, making sure the medical bills are paid, and even those are mounting.
This bill, which is almost $2,800, we haven't paid that yet.
It's the cost of keeping her husband, Mark, around as long as possible and watch their 6-year-old grow up.
I can't worry about the money part. I'm worried about him.
Before Mark got sick, he had a healthy lifestyle.
We went to the gym, actually sometimes twice a day.
Until 2016, when a sudden seizure changed everything.
I thought maybe it was too much protein or in his diet or the carotene drinks he was drinking. And in reality, it was glioblastoma.
An aggressive, deadly form of brain cancer.
Yeah, it's tough, you know.
Stephanie went looking for some support when Mark's mobility and personality started to change.
It's a roller coaster ride.
But she found more people than she ever expected living the same battle, like 33-year-old Lenny.
So when the doctor came out and showed me the picture from the CAT scan and said, "You've got brain cancer," I said, "You got the wrong patient."
And Mitzi's mother-in-law,
Diagnosed January 5th, 2013.
who passed away in 2016.
Never sick a day in her life.
In roughly a year, this growing group told me it tracked down at least 11 cases of people diagnosed in St. Lucie County over just the last 5 years.
Word of mouth is how this has happened.
When you map it out, all live in the same area just miles apart for the bulk of their lives. Some on the same street, or in Jackie Perry's case, the same home.
I knew our former landlord passed away of cancer, but it wasn't until I spoke to Stephanie that I found out it was glioblastoma.
Patients range in age. Kim Hart's mom is in her 70s. Gregory Harmon III never made it to his 3rd birthday.
Something's wrong.
We consulted the experts.
Other than to say that number does seem high.
Dr. Henry Friedman at Duke University told me about 13,000 people across the country are diagnosed with glioblastoma each year. So in a town of about 40,000.
It certainly seems like a higher number than one would expect in that common time frame and such a small denominator as the size of that town. I think that it does bear some investigation.
There's done.
Unfortunately, it can be a lengthy process and a difficult one to prove whether or not an environmental factor is contributing to a higher incidence of an illness. But he says for glioblastoma, the only cause known can be exposure to radiation. Now, we have been in touch with the Florida Department of Health here in St. Lucie County. They have been in contact with the majority of these glioblastoma patients. In fact, meeting up with them just the other night, and they have offered their services to them. They also say they have been in touch with the state level of the health department to talk about the best way to move forward with these patients' concerns over the seemingly higher number of local cases. Reporting live, I'm Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.